Welcome to segment 2 of Citizens Forum, being filmed on Tuesday, July the 28th. I'd like to thank again our volunteer crew and the Shaw staff that makes it happen. Our guest in this segment is Bill MacDonald. Bill is with the Greater Victoria Light Rail Society, and we're going to be talking about transportation, and we're going to be talking about trains, I think mostly, which is definitely, I think, the way of the future. But here in Victoria, it's so difficult to start to make it happen. But can you lay out just an idea of what we could have in this city in terms of rail and rapid transit?
Well, as you may know, Jack, our society was formed over 35 years ago. And we started on this, and we brought in experts from Portland, Oregon, engineers, to check out our ideas of a possible light rail line for Victoria. Was it feasible, or are we taking on something that's way over our heads? And they confirmed that Victoria was well suited for light rail. The general public want it. And we've done 4 surveys over a period of 35 years. And every one of them have been at least 89% in support of this. The only thing that's holding this up is at the political level. That's the problem. And the line that we proposed would go from what we would say the cruise ship terminal through to downtown, either Douglas Street or Government Street or both streets, depending on how they want to design it, through to the Galloping Goose, the old ENN, or not the ENN corridor, but the CN corridor. And that corridor could handle everything, walking, cycling, and a double-track light rail system. The right-of-way is a minimum of 66 feet wide, up to 100 feet wide, which is plenty wide enough to support all 3 of those alternatives. And the ENN also would be have the same qualifications, 66 feet wide to 100 feet wide. It's plenty wide enough.
So what we're talking about is trains from Ogden Point out to Langford, following, let's say, possibly the Galloping Goose Trail or possibly the ENN, where there's already a track laid, at least a single line track. Does anybody have a cost figure, just a ballpark cost figure on doing that?
Well, back in 1994, we could have done this line for a price of $300 million for the line right from the cruise ship terminal right through to Langford for $300. Now, of course, they come up with some figure that's slightly under $1 billion, which we believe is way overpriced and was probably done, at least we feel, to kill the project.
Now, my understanding is that if we use let's say the ENN line, the right-of-way is already there. There's already one line of track. Of course, it would have to be probably upgraded. But I've heard costs of $50 or $60 million. That would be, let's just say from downtown out to Langford along the ENN. I mean, is that a possible number, or is that way too low?
No, it shouldn't be any more than about $35 million a kilometer, everything included. That should be what it is. They're building a line in Waterloo, light rail line, and they're building it for approximately that cost. So why can't we?
Okay. Talk a bit about some of the economic advantages that rail can bring.
Well, if we use Portland as an example, and it's a great example, they found tremendous increases in the economic advantages with having light rail or a streetcar line in there. And it's rebuilt their whole downtown. It's vibrant, it's safe, and it's fun to be there. So there's no reason why we couldn't have the same here if there was the right attitude towards it, and the desire and vision. We lack vision.
I think the desire is there among people, but
yes,
really, I mean, we live in a society dominated by oil companies and car companies, and I mean, my feeling is they just won't let it happen. They just won't let it happen. Whether the public wants it or not, I mean, let's find out the truth. Let's get some honest numbers and and have discussion, have debate, and find out what works. I mean, but it's so difficult to make that happen. You wanted to just mention employment.
Yes, it's going to increase new jobs, full-time and part-time. Be a huge advantage for Victoria.
You mean in terms of because people would be coming downtown and it would just make the downtown more vibrant?
To build the line.
And to build
construct
the line,
it, right? You're going to have those jobs,
Yeah.
new jobs available. And, you know, that employment would be fantastic for Victoria.
Now, light rail is there a cheaper way of going than light rail? For example, trolleys running along.
The alternative that I would put forward would be an electric trolleybus rapid transit line to Langford, which would be a lower cost than light rail. But that would be the best alternative. Certainly not hybrid buses. I don't think hybrids are proven yet.
Okay, so let's say we use the E&N line. There's already one track there. We could double track where necessary and run, you're saying, electric trolleys, which use the same track width.
You would probably need a little more space, but again, you got ample space. If it's 66 feet minimum to 100 feet,
Yeah.
you got ample space there.
So do you have any idea of a cost for doing that?
For a trolley bus line, you're looking at about $5 million a kilometer, I believe.
$5 million a kilometer sounds
Something
pretty
like
good.
that, $5 million.
Well, then why not? I mean, will electric trolleys be able to handle the job?
They wouldn't be able to attract the same kind of ridership as light rail. Light rail would attract immediately 35% coming from the line.
Electric trolleys could do the...
They could do up to about 18% based on what's happened in San Francisco and in Salzburg, Austria, which have found that when the electric trolleybus line has gone in, they've had an increase in passengers up to that percentage.
It's possible then that using that technology of electric trolleys, we could build a system out from downtown, or even from, let's say from downtown out to Langford for less than $80 million. And that's the cost, they're telling us, I think, of the new interchange at Mackenzie and Highway number 1. So what about that expense that's going to be spent on?
That certainly would negate any necessity to build an interchange. We could have said that you're not going to solve a problem by building the interchange. You're going to move it to a different location. If we look at any other city, and look to Vancouver, they've spent billions in Vancouver widening highways to freeways and bridges, and they really haven't solved the problem. All they've done is increased it. More people are attracted to the roads, more people are using them. Gridlock is there no matter where you go. The highways are way overpacked.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe that's something we should discuss. Let's look at building some kind of rail system right out to Langford. Now they've taken the bridge out, and that's, of course, a huge problem. But really, the rail bridge can be replaced, as far as I know, at a fairly... I mean, these are the kinds of things they do to us. They take out that rail bridge quite deliberately, I think, in order to make sure that this kind of idea can't happen. But let's look at it. Let's look at the real costs. And what you said about building a new interchange, as you say, you can look almost anywhere in the world to see that it doesn't work.
They don't work. All they do is attract more cars, and that doesn't solve the problem. And again, this is going to open in 2018 or something, this interchange?
Who knows?
Look at the homes that are being built in Langford right now, the kind of building that's going on. How many more people are going to be traveling in cars to get from Langford, Colwood area, into town?
And let's not even mention climate change, because climate change insists that we're going to have to be using less cars in the future. We just have to. So to be spending $80 million on an interchange for more cars when we've got to move towards less cars is completely crazy. Bill, the Greater Victoria Light Rail Society. You've been fighting the good fight for a long time. It's time you won.
Over 35 years, and we should have had it. It's unfortunate that there is no long-term vision at any level of government. And as I say, it's just too bad. I mean, this is needed. This works. This has been proven. So why are we not going forward with something that's really proven to work?
Okay, we've got $80 million to spend right now on this interchange. I mean, let's take 1 month and look at a rail system instead. Bill, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching this segment of Citizens Forum.